Chosen ones. 7. Weird signs. You're different from everyone else. Warning. The universe has been sending you signals your entire life, and most people will never recognize them. If you felt different, disconnected, or like you don't belong, there's a reason. What you're about to discover will confirm what your soul already knows. This message has found you at exactly the right moment, and that is no coincidence. The next few minutes will reveal why you've always felt separate from the crowd, why ordinary life has never satisfied you, and why you're here right now, reading these words. Pay close attention, because these signs don't appear to everyone. Have you ever noticed how strangers seem drawn to you without explanation? Do you wake at the same mysterious hour each night? Does your gut feeling always turn out to be right, even when logic says otherwise? There's something happening beneath the surface of your everyday life, something most people will never understand. You're not like everyone else, and deep down, you've always known it. In this revelation, I'm going to unveil 7 undeniable signs that mark you as spiritually different from the masses. These aren't random coincidences or psychological tricks. These are ancient markers, cosmic breadcrumbs left by the universe to help you recognize your true nature. Each sign is a key, and together they unlock the truth about who you really are and why you're here. The world wants everyone to fit into the same box, to follow the same path, to want the same things. But you've never been able to squeeze yourself into that mold, have you? There's a reason for that. You weren't designed for ordinary existence. You were marked before you even took your first breath, chosen for something far greater than the mundane routine that satisfies most people. Understanding these signs will transform how you see yourself and your place in this reality. You'll finally understand why certain things happen to you, why you process the world differently, and why the normal rules never seem to apply to your life. This isn't about ego or feeling superior. This is about recognition, about finally seeing the truth that's been hiding in plain sight. Let me be clear. Not everyone who watches this will resonate with these signs. Some will dismiss them, laugh them off, or forget them by tomorrow. But if you're truly one of the chosen, each word will strike a chord deep within your spirit. You'll feel that familiar sensation, that knowing that whispers, yes, this is real, this is me. We're going to journey through 7 distinct markers together. Some will shock you, others will feel like coming home. All of them will make sense of the experiences you've been having, perhaps for your entire life. The confusion, the isolation, the feeling of being an outsider looking in, all of it has meaning. All of it has purpose. Before we dive into the first sign, understand this. The path of the chosen is not always easy. In fact, it rarely is. Being spiritually different means you'll face challenges others won't understand. You'll walk roads that have no maps. You'll see things that remain invisible to most. But you'll also experience beauty, connection, and purpose at levels that ordinary existence never touches. So let's begin this unveiling. Let's pull back the curtain on your true nature. Let's explore what makes you fundamentally different from everyone else. The first sign that marks you as chosen is something you've probably noticed but never fully understood. Strangers approach you, not occasionally, not randomly, but consistently and with purpose. You could be standing in line at a coffee shop, sitting alone on a park bench, or walking through a crowded street, and someone will single you out. They'll start talking to you about their problems, their lives, their deepest struggles. People you've never met will treat you like a trusted confidant, spilling their secrets as if you've known each other for years. This isn't chance. This is recognition operating at a level beyond conscious awareness. These people don't understand why they're drawn to you. They just feel compelled, pulled by an invisible force they can't explain. What they're actually sensing is the light that emanates from your spirit. You carry a frequency that calls out to those who are lost, hurting, or searching. You've become a lighthouse in human form, and ships lost in the storm navigate toward you instinctively. But here's where it gets more complex. Not everyone who approaches you comes with pure intentions. Your light doesn't just attract those seeking healing. It also draws those who want to drain your energy, those who sense your power and want to diminish it, those who are unconsciously operating as agents of distraction sent to pull you off your path. This is why you've been given another gift alongside your magnetic presence. Discernment. Discernment is your spiritual immune system. It allows you to feel the difference between someone who genuinely needs your help and someone who wants to consume your energy. You get that gut feeling, that subtle sense of unease or warmth when meeting new people. That's not paranoia or judgment. That's your higher self protecting you, guiding you toward aligned connections and away from toxic ones. Think about a specific moment. You decided to go somewhere at a particular time, somewhere you don't usually go. Maybe you stopped at a different store, took a different route home, sat in a different spot, and suddenly, someone approaches you. They share something deeply personal. They tell you they don't know why they're telling you this, but they feel like they can trust you. This isn't coincidence. This is divine orchestration. The universe arranged that meeting because that person needed to hear something only you could say, or because you needed to learn something from that interaction. Your presence alone provides comfort to others. People feel safer around you. They sense that you won't judge them, that you'll listen without agenda, that you hold space for their pain without trying to fix them or use their vulnerability against them. This is rare. This is sacred. This is one of your gifts as a chosen one. But remember, you're not responsible for saving everyone who approaches you. Your light is meant to guide, not to burn itself out. You must protect your energy while still being of service. This is the balance you're learning to strike, the wisdom you're developing as you grow into your purpose. The second sign is your intuition. And I'm not talking about occasional gut feelings or lucky guesses. Your intuition operates at a level that borders on precognition. You know things before they happen. You sense outcomes before events unfold. You can read situations and people with accuracy that others find unsettling. When chaos erupts around you, when others panic and spiral into anxiety, you remain centered. Not because you're indifferent or detached, but because you can see beyond the immediate crisis. Your inner knowing assures you that everything is unfolding as it should, that this challenge serves a purpose, that the outcome will ultimately align with your highest good. This isn't blind optimism. This is spiritual sight. Other people struggle with this quality in you. They don't understand how you can be so calm when everything seems to be falling apart. They interpret your peace as naivety or denial. They think you don't grasp the severity of the situation, but you do. You simply see layers of reality they can't perceive. You understand that what looks like an ending is often a beginning, that what appears as loss is frequently liberation, that destruction precedes transformation. Your intuition manifests in countless ways. You walk into a room and immediately sense the energy. You know which people to trust before they've spoken a word. You feel when something is off, even when everything appears normal on the surface. You get sudden urges to call someone, and when you do, they tell you they desperately needed to hear from you at that exact moment. You take a different route home for no logical reason, only to discover later that you avoided an accident or delay. This gift allows you to navigate life with a grace that others lack. You make decisions that seem risky or illogical to outside observers, but consistently work in your favor. You turn down opportunities that everyone else envies, and later discover they would have led you into situations that would have derailed your purpose. You say yes to paths that appear uncertain, and they open into experiences that transform your entire existence. Your intuition also protects you. It warns you away from dangerous situations, toxic relationships, and misaligned opportunities. That uncomfortable feeling you get around certain people isn't you being judgmental. It's your spirit recognizing energetic incompatibility or hidden agendas. That sense of dread about a seemingly good opportunity isn't you being negative. It's your higher self steering you away from something that looks right but feels wrong. Learning to trust this gift is part of your journey. Society teaches us to ignore our intuition, to rely solely on logic and external validation. But you're remembering that your inner knowing is your most reliable compass. The more you honor it, the stronger it becomes. The more you act on it, the more it guides you toward your destiny. If you're recognizing yourself in these signs, if these words are resonating with something deep inside you, then I invite you to join this community of awakening souls. Subscribe to this channel and become part of a tribe that understands your journey. You're not alone in this experience, and together, we're stronger. The third sign is your heightened sensitivity to emotions and energy. You don't just feel your own emotions, you absorb the feelings of everyone around you. You walk into a room and immediately take on the collective mood. Someone near you is anxious and suddenly your heart races. Someone nearby is grieving, and waves of sadness wash over you without explanation. This isn't weakness. This is a profound form of spiritual perception. During your awakening, this sensitivity intensifies. You find yourself overwhelmed by things that never bothered you before. A casual conversation can trigger deep emotional responses. A scene in a movie can affect you for days. Words that others brush off strike you like physical blows. This is because you're not just hearing words or witnessing events. You're experiencing the energy and intention behind them. Social gatherings that once felt enjoyable now drain you completely. You can sense every unspoken tension, every hidden agenda, every suppressed emotion in the room. Small talk feels excruciating because you're aware of all the authentic communication being avoided. You see through the masks people wear, and it exhausts you to pretend you don't. This sensitivity is both gift and burden. On one hand, it gives you extraordinary empathy and understanding. You can hold space for others' pain because you genuinely feel it. You can offer authentic comfort because you truly comprehend what they're experiencing. You become a healer simply through your capacity to witness and validate emotions that others dismiss or deny. On the other hand, this openness makes you vulnerable to energy vampires and toxic environments. Negative people can drain your life force within minutes. Hostile spaces can leave you physically ill. Toxic family dynamics that others endure with minimal impact can devastate your well-being for weeks. You're like a sponge, absorbing everything. And if you don't learn to wring yourself out, you'll become waterlogged with others' emotional debris. This is why developing protection practices becomes essential for chosen ones. You need techniques to shield your energy, to cleanse what you've absorbed, to maintain your boundaries without shutting down your gifts. Meditation becomes medicine. Time in nature becomes therapy. Solitude becomes sacred. These aren't luxuries. They're necessities for your survival and your service. Your sensitivity also heightens your awareness of your own emotional landscape. You feel everything deeply. Joy fills you completely. Sadness crashes over you in waves. Anger burns through you like wildfire. This emotional intensity can be frightening, especially if you grew up in environments that demanded emotional suppression. But this depth of feeling is part of what makes you powerful. You cannot heal what you cannot feel, and your willingness to experience the full spectrum of emotion is what makes you an effective conduit for transformation. The fourth sign involves your magnetic effect on animals and children. If you've noticed that dogs who typically fear strangers immediately trust you, that cats seek you out in rooms full of people, that birds don't startle in your presence, or that wild animals hold eye contact with you, this isn't random. Animals operate purely on energetic perception. They sense vibrations that humans intellectualize away. When they approach you, they're responding to the purity and safety of your frequency. Children demonstrate this same attraction. Babies smile at you from across rooms. Toddlers who cling to their parents approach you without hesitation. Young children share their toys with you, tell you their secrets, ask you profound questions. This happens because children haven't yet been conditioned to distrust their intuition. They still perceive the world energetically, and they recognize the light you carry. This phenomenon confirms what you may have doubted. Your energy is genuinely different. It's not your imagination. It's not you being self-absorbed or special snowflake syndrome. Animals and children are incapable of the pretense and social performance that adults engage in. They respond only to authentic energy, and their consistent attraction to you is objective evidence of your spiritual frequency. Pay attention to these interactions. They're not just validating your nature. They're teaching you about presence, authenticity, and unconditional acceptance. Animals and children don't care about your accomplishments, your appearance, or your social status. They respond to your essence. They remind you that who you are beneath all the layers of identity and story is what truly matters. These connections also serve another purpose. They ground you. When the weight of your sensitivity becomes overwhelming, when the complexity of adult human dynamics exhausts you, time with animals and children returns you to simplicity. They live in the present moment. They experience life directly rather than through layers of interpretation. They offer you a portal back to that state of being, which is actually your natural state before the world convinced you to complicate everything. The fifth sign is waking between 3 and 4 in the morning. This specific time frame is no accident. These hours represent the thinnest veil between the physical and spiritual realms. Energy moves differently during this window. The collective consciousness quiets. The noise of human thought settles. And in that silence, spiritual communication becomes clearer. If you consistently wake during this period, your spirit is being called to attention. You're receiving downloads, updates, recalibrations. Your higher self is communicating with you, offering guidance, showing you visions, providing answers to questions you've been holding. This is sacred time, even though it disrupts your sleep and frustrates you when you have to function the next day. Many people experience this waking as anxiety or insomnia, and they fight it. They take pills to stay unconscious through these hours. They scroll their phones to distract from the stillness. But you, as a chosen one, are being invited to embrace these moments differently. Instead of resisting the waking, use it. Meditate during this time. Pray. Journal. Sit in the silence and listen. You'll be amazed at what comes through. During these hours, you may receive creative inspiration. Solutions to problems that have plagued you suddenly become clear. You might feel compelled to reach out to someone only to discover they desperately needed your message at that exact moment. You could experience profound realizations about your life path, your relationships, your purpose. This is not random brain activity. This is intentional spiritual communication. Some people report feeling presences during these hours, sensing that they're not alone in the room. Others see visions, hear voices, or experience spontaneous memories from past lives or parallel timelines. These experiences can be unsettling if you don't understand what's happening. But once you recognize this time as a gift rather than a curse, it transforms from disturbing to illuminating. Your spirit is expanding, and expansion requires less sleep than the ordinary human experience. As you awaken spiritually, your physical body needs less rest because you're being sustained by spiritual energy. The 3 to 4 a.m. waking is your system adjusting to operating on a different frequency. It's recalibrating. It's upgrading. Honor this process rather than pathologizing it. The sixth sign is your comfort with being different. From early in your life, you've felt separate from the mainstream. You didn't fit into the standard categories. The groups that claimed others never fully welcomed you. The paths that satisfied most people left you empty. And instead of twisting yourself into shapes that don't fit your soul, you've learned to walk alone. This isn't antisocial behavior. This isn't you being difficult or contrary. This is authentic self-honoring. You understand at a core level that your purpose requires you to deviate from the prescribed route. You know that your calling demands you reject the templates society offers. You sense that your destiny lies beyond the boundaries of conventional existence. Most people sacrifice their authenticity for acceptance. They mold themselves into whatever shape will earn them belonging. They silence their truth to maintain harmony. They abandon their dreams to meet others' expectations. But you can't do this. Something in you refuses to compromise on such a fundamental level. You'd rather be alone and real than surrounded and fake. This quality has probably cost you relationships. People have called you stubborn, difficult, too intense, too much. They've told you that you think you're special, that you need to be more realistic, that you should just go along to get along. These criticisms hurt, especially when they come from people you love. But you've learned that their inability to understand your path doesn't invalidate it. Your willingness to stand apart marks you as chosen. The universe needs people who won't conform, who won't compromise their integrity, who won't dilute their message to make it palatable. The world has enough people following the herd. It needs shepherds, scouts, pioneers. It needs people brave enough to walk into unmarked territory and say, "There's another way." This doesn't mean you're arrogant or that you reject everyone. It means you value depth over breadth in your connections. You'd rather have 2 friends who truly see you than 20 who know only your surface. You'd rather spend time alone than in company that requires you to perform or pretend. You understand that loneliness and solitude are entirely different experiences. Your comfort with being different also means you don't need external validation to know your worth. Other people's opinions don't define you. Their rejection doesn't devastate you. Their approval doesn't complete you. You've found your center, and it's anchored in something deeper than human judgment. This inner stability is rare, and it's one of the qualities that makes you effective in your purpose. The 7th and final sign is how you experience and utilize periods of isolation. While most people fear being alone and fill every moment with noise, distraction, and social interaction, you recognize isolation as a gift. You don't just tolerate solitude, you crave it, you need it. You understand it as essential for your spiritual maintenance and growth. During periods of isolation, you don't feel abandoned by the universe. You feel held by it. These are not punishment or evidence of your unworthiness. These are sacred containers for your transformation. In solitude, you shed the false selves you've constructed for survival. You release the expectations and judgments you've absorbed from others. You return to your essential nature. Isolation allows you to hear the quiet voice of your intuition that gets drowned out by the noise of daily life. It gives you space to process the emotions and energy you've absorbed from others. It provides opportunity to reconnect with your creative essence, your spiritual practices, your deepest truths. Without this time alone, you would lose yourself in the demands and drama of the external world. This doesn't mean you're antisocial or that you hate people. It means you understand that your capacity to be of service depends on your willingness to retreat and recharge. You recognize that you cannot pour from an empty cup, that you cannot hold space for others if you haven't held space for yourself. Your periods of isolation are not selfish withdrawal. They're responsible self-care that ensures you can continue fulfilling your purpose. You've probably noticed that isolation finds you even when you don't choose it. Relationships end unexpectedly. Jobs conclude. Living situations change. Suddenly you find yourself alone for extended periods. This isn't bad luck. This is divine orchestration. The universe knows when you need to be alone for your next level of growth. It creates the circumstances that remove distractions and force you into the solitude required for your evolution. During these times, you're being prepared. Spiritual downloads are being integrated. Old wounds are surfacing to be healed. Outdated beliefs are being released. New capacities are being developed. None of this can happen in the noise and busyness of regular life. It requires the silence and spaciousness that only isolation provides. Your ability to not just survive, but thrive in isolation sets you apart. Most people become desperate in extended solitude. They'll accept toxic relationships rather than be alone. They'll stay in soul-crushing situations rather than face themselves. But you've learned that the relationship with yourself is primary. You've discovered that you're actually excellent company. You've realized that solitude is where you meet the divine most intimately. So here we are. 7 signs, 7 markers. 7 confirmations of what your soul already knows. You're different. You're chosen. You're here for something specific and significant. These signs aren't random traits or personality quirks. They're evidence of your spiritual nature and indicators of your purpose. If these signs resonated with you, if you recognized yourself in these descriptions, if something in your spirit said yes to each revelation, then you can no longer deny what you are. The question now is not whether you're chosen. The question is what you're going to do with this knowledge. Will you continue hiding your light to make others comfortable? Will you keep pretending to be ordinary when you know you're not? Will you sacrifice your purpose for approval? Or will you step fully into your power? Will you embrace your difference as destiny? Will you honor your gifts rather than apologizing for them? The world doesn't need you to be smaller. It needs you to be fully, unapologetically yourself. It needs the specific frequency you carry, the particular medicine you offer, the unique perspective you hold. Your journey as a chosen one will not be easy. You'll face misunderstanding, resistance, and opposition. You'll walk through periods that feel like complete darkness. You'll question everything, including your sanity. But you'll also experience beauty, meaning, and connection at depths that ordinary existence never reaches. You'll impact lives in ways you'll never fully know. You'll serve purposes that extend far beyond your individual story. Remember, being chosen isn't about being better than anyone else. It's about being called to a specific function in the grand design. Every person has value, every soul has purpose, but not every purpose looks the same. Yours requires you to be different, to stand apart, to operate on a frequency that most people don't understand. That's not superiority, that's assignment. If you're ready to go deeper into understanding your nature and purpose as a chosen one, then stay connected to this channel. Subscribe now, because we're just beginning to unveil the mysteries of your spiritual identity. There's so much more to explore, so many more signs to recognize, so much guidance to receive. Don't walk this path alone. Join this community of awakening souls who understand your journey because they're walking it too. The universe brought you to this message at this exact moment for a reason. You were meant to hear these words. You were meant to have these confirmations. You were meant to remember who you are beneath all the conditioning and confusion. This is your invitation to stop hiding, to stop doubting, to stop diminishing yourself. This is your permission to embrace your truth fully. You are chosen. You are different. You are here for a purpose that only you can fulfill. These 7 signs are just the beginning of your remembering. There are layers upon layers of wisdom waiting to be revealed, gifts waiting to be unwrapped, capacities waiting to be activated. Your journey is unfolding exactly as it should, and every experience, every challenge, every moment of isolation has been preparing you for what comes next. Trust the process. Trust your intuition. Trust the signs. Most of all, trust yourself. You know things others don't know. You see what others can't see. You feel what others don't feel. This isn't burden. This is blessing. This is your sacred assignment in this incarnation. Honor it. Embrace it. Live it fully. The world is changing rapidly, and that change requires people like you. People who can hold light in darkness. People who can maintain peace in chaos. People who can see beyond surface appearances to deeper truths. People who refuse to compromise their integrity, no matter the cost. You are these people. You are the ones who've been prepared for this time. So, step forward. Stop hiding in the shadows. Stop minimizing your gifts. Stop apologizing for your sensitivity. Stop trying to fit into spaces that were never meant to contain you. You are not broken. You are not too much. You are not strange or defective. You are chosen, and everything about you that feels different is actually exactly right for your purpose. Welcome home to yourself. Welcome to the recognition of your true nature. Welcome to the beginning of living authentically as the chosen one you've always been. The journey from here gets more interesting, more challenging, and more rewarding than you can currently imagine. And you're ready for it. You've always been ready for it. That's why you're here.